you're coming, I think, off last time, probably like a fall surgery for your ACL. Do you, what's the last couple of months or, last year been like probably overall with that? And what's, the rehab process been like kind of getting back?
Yeah, the ACL. So I had ACL surgery in November last year or last fall. So that was a super tough and just long process to get through. But I pretty much throughout the summer, I was finally coming back. And once I got to BC this fall, it kind of was full, um, like ready to go. I was ready to go, like 100%, which was good.
Awesome. Yeah. Were there any like moments or like milestones you like hit during that process? Whether that was, I know you said back then you were kind of playing a lot of wall ball, but was there like any like milestones that you hit, whether that was getting back on the field, like full, sprints running, any of that that kind of stick out to you from, the lead up back into things?
Yeah, so the place that I did physical therapy at had a Ultra G treadmill, so I was able to run a little earlier than I would if I was just to run 100%, like 100% body weight on normal turf. So that was definitely a milestone, just trying to get my legs moving and kind of feel like I was getting back into it. And then again, like starting to practice, even though if it wasn't with contact, it was just doing like the passing drills at club practice or really just shooting in the backyard with my sister.
Cool. Yeah. When was the last time you played? I think weren't you off kind of your junior season of high school as well with COVID? Has it been, just a long time since you've touched the field?
Yeah, so I hadn't played in a high school game since the last high school game I played was my sophomore year, but because our junior season got canceled with COVID. And then I was able to play with my club team Mathlete throughout that time. So I did have the summer of my junior year and the summer going into my junior year. So that I definitely wasn't off the field completely, but it definitely was weird. Like the first time I played at BC, I was like, I have not played in an organized real game in so long.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What were kind of your emotions, getting back into things? Has it been, just different to be back out there at all, or has it felt pretty, comfortable to get back into things?
Yeah, I would say at first, I mean, it takes a little bit of adjustment just getting back into the swing of things, but it's been so fun. Like people look at me and they're like, why are you smiling? We're like doing warm-ups. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like I just missed it so much. So um yeah, it just so I think I have a new appreciation for it and I'm just happy to be out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you're like probably right now about a month away from your first game. Do you think you're going to have kind of any emotions, taking, obviously it's huge to, even step foot out there, but since you haven't played in so long, do you think there's going to be kind of a mix of emotions for you?
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a really special day. I mean, it's my birthday too,
Oh, that's awesome.
which makes it even more special. Yeah. So I think I'm just really excited to start this season with BC and kind of get the ball rolling. And I'm just excited to see what this season has for our team.
For sure. What was it like? You mentioned, kind of, with your sister earlier on. What was it like last season, watching kind of from the sidelines as they went on to win the whole thing, obviously. What was that kind of experience like?
Yeah, it was so cool and so special for her. And I kind of like because they were in lockdown with COVID, like I was able to talk to her on the phone so much, like after practice, because she really wasn't allowed to like socialize with anyone. So I knew how hard it was for her to have to wear the mask or really just only be with her roommate at times. So just seeing them achieve that and achieve her goal and the team's goal was so special. And definitely motivates me for this year.
Yeah, has she kind of given you any tips or anything so far, whether that's on the field or around campus? Has she kind of been your go-to person for that?
Yeah, I called her on my first day of classes because I went to the wrong class just timing wise. I messed it up. I called her and I was like, I messed up. She's like, it's okay. It's the first day of school. But yeah, she has my back and she always is looking out for me. It's just nice to have um the girls on the team are awesome, but there's a different bond between you and your sister. So to have her there, see her every day, practice and lift is just super nice.
Yeah, and then I kind of want to get into your relationship with your coach, but do you have any, previous relationships with anybody else on the team? Has it kind of been brand new, or has there been anybody that you've kind of already had, some sort of connection with?
Yeah, so BC does a great job throughout their like summer camps and their winter camps just for incoming kids to meet the girls that are older than them. So going in, I pretty much knew most of the girls, but I didn't, you don't really know someone until you're living on campus with them. but it's a couple of my sister's best friends throughout last year and throughout the years before, I've really become close with, and they look out for me, and they're just so much fun. So
Yeah, for sure. And kind of, I just touched on that, but getting into kind of the connection I was reading up on, just when you got your injury, I know your coach reached out to you, kind of give you some advice. What has that relationship been like for you as it grown, kind of over time, and where does kind of everything with that stand?
yeah, I mean, I idolize all my coaches. They're the best, the best. They're so cool on the field and off the field, just as people and role models. I really do think that BC is so special in that they do build relationships between the players and coaches. There's really not a big disconnect there. So, I mean, every day I show up and I'm like, I'm so privileged. Like, this is the coolest thing ever to be able to be coached by Acacia, Sam Puzo, Jen Kent, like Billy Bitter. It's just so special, and I really think that the relationships that I have with them are just going to continue to grow, and I'm excited for that.
For sure. Do you kind of have anything, so far? Do you kind of know what you're hoping your role is, or are you kind of just taking everything uh, kind of as it is so far? I don't know how far into kind of prepping for everything you guys are this season and practicing, but do you kind of have any idea of, the role you're hoping to kind of play this season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of open to everything, just trying to be a sponge and learn as much as I can because I'm surrounded by the best players in the country. So, kind of just trying to learn. I would hope to make an impact in whatever way that helps the team, really, whether that's scoring goals, passing, cheering, just trying to do my best. But I'm really open to anything, just trying to be successful.
Awesome. Yeah. And I know going back to kind of the last time we talked, I talked with your high school coach, and she said, that you and your sister are kind of different players. You're more like, of an attacker and more of a scoring option. What kind of advice have you gotten so far from, some of the people you're playing with or coaches just on anything that kind of sticks out, advice or coaching wise so far for you?
Yeah, I think college is a lot more intense compared to high school practices and just high school in general and even club. So I think they're just kind of say like stay focused and like just focus on the little things that all kind of add up. Because if you start thinking about, oh no, like did I mess this up? Or oh no, like I'm not fast enough, or oh no, like that's kind of like digs you into a hole. So they just kind of tell me like focus on the little things, like keep working hard, work on your stick, do the things that you know you can do, and just take pride in those. That's kind of what I've been trying to make my mindset, just kind of like work on the small things, put in the work when I need to do when I need to, and hopefully that translates.
Yeah, and I know this is kind of jumping back, but you just kind of mentioned, the work. Was that probably the hardest part for you when it came to the injury? Was it harder to, kind of work on things? I know you always kind of had a stick in your hands, it sounded like for, wall ball, even though you couldn't do some of the other stuff. But was that kind of the biggest obstacle you felt like, you just wanted to be doing, something involved with the sport?
Yeah, I definitely missed like playing in the games or like almost like getting hit when you're shooting. Like as silly as that sounds, like um missing the competition, like you can only have so much competition with yourself when you're just playing wall ball. But I do think as months went on and as weeks went on, I gradually like gained a new thing. Like, oh, I could shoot, or towards the end, like my dad could take a pad and like hit me as I'm dodging, kind of just simulate the game situation. So it definitely was hard. Anyone going through an ACL kind of knows, or really any injury knows that like being away from the game in that sense, it's so tough mentally and physically. But I had a great support system around me that really helped me get through it and set me up for success.
Yeah, kind of with that support system, how are they helping you? And I know you said your dad was helping you practice. Kind of was your sister involved? What was, everything with the support system? How was that kind of throughout the process?
Yeah, my whole family, my friends, especially like my sister, my parents, and even my little brother, like they always would one push me, like make sure that I'm not like slacking and like having like, oh, I don't want to get on the bike today, even though like I need to get on the bike today, like, and it might seem like something small that day, but it kind of adds up. So they just continue to push me and like encourage me through it. But they're also there for me when they know it's hard to like watch your team play in a game and you're on the sidelines. So I think I was really privileged and like fortunate to have such a great support system at home and even in my friends and teammates.
Yeah, that's awesome. Kind of, last question I have for you, and obviously a little bit bigger picture. So feel free if you don't have anything that comes to the top of your mind. But When you kind of look back at everything, you went through with the ACL and sitting for that long, was there any lessons or anything that you feel like you can take from that and kind of go forward with?
Yeah, I've been recently thinking to myself, like, as much as the ACL was terrible, like it was terrible, like it kind of took me out of my senior seasons. I'm really grateful that it happened because I learned so much about myself and myself as a like an athlete and as how I work well. And I think the ACL really just taught me like you have to work hard even when people like aren't, and when people aren't watching kind of. So like yes, there are some days when you're like, you have to do 10 leg lifts and it really won't make a difference if you don't do them that day, but you do them tomorrow. But I think it's just the dedication and principle of it that really taught me like, okay, this is how you work hard and condition and kind of prepare yourself for something. So then when I was getting ready to come to school, um, you could skip a run and maybe it didn't make that big of a difference, but it's the principle of it. It's the commitment that you have to your team and to yourself. So I think that's really what I took away from it. And it's made me a better athlete, I think.